Good afternoon, friends. Jacob Mann here. I'm going to do an unboxing and an initial impression and review of the Neewer 1200 watt flash photography kit for your studio. So I'm going to put this box down on the ground and we'll take a look. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to take a look at the Neewer 1200 watt studio flash photography kit. It's a kit you can get on Amazon for a pretty good price. Comes in a huge box. I'm going to show it off to you now, give you some initial impressions, show you how to build the softbox, which a lot of people struggle with the first few times. I know I did. And kind of compare it to some of the other models out there and let you know what I think about it. So I'm only going to build one light, but understand that this kit comes with three and they're all exactly the same. For the first thing you need for any light is your stand. So they include three stands, which are 6-foot stands. And we're going to use this for the remainder of the video here. We'll put our light right there and see how it goes. The next thing we'll look at here, we're going to get to in a little bit, is the triggering system. So it comes with three small boxes, a trigger or a transmitter with one receiver. It's in the first box. And then the other two boxes are just two more receivers, just like this one. These lights can either be triggered with the remote transmitter and a receiver, and you can put the same receiver on all three lights. It also has small dip switches, and you can change those if you're getting any kind of interference, if lights are going off sporadically, or if you want to do something where maybe you have one set of lights for a certain type of model and another set of lights for another model, and that way you don't have to constantly reconfigure everything. You can just have all the lights for women set to number 1, all the lights for men set to number 2, and then from your transmitter, just quickly flip that switch back and forth to change lights as people come and go from your studio. The lights can also be fired from an optical sensor. Whenever it senses another flash going off in the room, it'll also fire. So you could, with this 3-light setup, put a speed light on your camera, set these lights up without any kind of transmitter or receiver, and then when your speed light goes off, it would fire off the rest. So you could quickly make this a 4-light studio setup for yourself. We'll put these on the lights when I get it in a minute. Next thing that we see in the box here is the bag that it comes with. It's a nice soft-sided bag. It's going to be pretty large on the inside once we get these buckles off. However, as I've seen this with another set of their lights before, once we open this thing up here, it's going to become obvious very quickly that this is not designed to carry all the lights. So this is going to be for your poles, your softboxes, the transmitters and the receivers, maybe some other accessories you want. But there's no way you're getting all three lights. I don't even think we can get one light in here. We're going to try that first. So this is just one of the lights. It comes in this box. I would keep this box and keep this padding for transportation if this is going to be a kit that you move around. Even if you're not, I would keep these boxes because the foam is cut for it perfectly, and if you ever do need to move it, just a one-time thing, you're going to be glad you have these boxes to keep everything nice and safe. But to show you what I was talking about, this bag is clearly not designed to carry your lights. Yeah, it's not even going to hold this one. That's okay, because we know that, and you can either just put these on a rolling cart or maybe a trunk system or something like that. It keeps the lights really well protected, so that's fine that the bag doesn't do it. The bag would be huge if it could take 3 boxes this size along with all the other gear. So this bag is for the soft boxes, the tripods or the stands, and the transmitter receivers and any other accessories you may have. So let's take a look at the light. So right away, like I said, this thing has great padding on it. Keep all this stuff. Also in the box, we've got a warranty card, some brief instructions, and it's not that tough, so you probably won't need them if you watch this video. A sync cable, which you could use to string lights together. I don't use that. power cable, which we're obviously going to need here in a minute. And then the light itself. So I'm going to put all this foam in here. Oh yeah, one other thing. Built in here, so it's nice and padded, is your model light. We'll get to that in a minute as well. Now, the first thing you're going to notice when you go to take this light out is there's no way to get this piece of foam off because of this dome. No problem. There's a silver switch right here. You're going to push that towards the back of the flash. This dome will rotate and come right off. Put that away. Put this guy back together. On the side here, we've got a screw that will be for the stand. So when we mount it to the stand, we'll tighten that up. And on this side, we've got this lever that loosens up the ability for this to pivot and position where you want it. You'll notice there's a yellow button. When you push that button, this spins freely without affecting this. So if you get it tight and this arm is bumping into the light, you press that yellow button, move it down, and tighten it up again. So we're going to go ahead and get the box out of here, put this guy on the light, and we're going to tighten it up so it's facing right at you. So as you can see, this is now up and down. I can just press this yellow button and spin it down, and it gets out of the way, and then I can kind of wrench on it a little bit more if I want to. Now I'm going to tighten this screw here, and now we're attached to our stand. That's where we want to be. I'm going to loosen this one just so I can spin this a little bit more freely, but normally once you have your light set, you're going to tighten everything down and make sure it's nice and sturdy. So on the back here, we've got power. You've got a port that's called sync. That's where the receiver will go. And it just hangs off the back here. The receiver has the dip switches I talked about earlier, plus an on-off switch. So flip that to on. If you leave it on after you're done, it will drain your batteries. Power switch, test cell, audio, and mode. Those are very simple, easy to see. So when I first plug this guy in, flip them on. Or come on, we've got a test light, it's red, that means it's ready to fire. Cell, which means the cell on top here, this clear dome, is waiting to see a flash, and when it does, it will also flash. Audio is that beep you heard when it first came on. Every time it beeps, it's ready to take another picture. So that way, when you're really going with your workflow and you're ready to take picture after picture after picture, you just wait for that beep to confirm the flashes are charged and ready. Otherwise, you're going to fire too quickly and get a black screen. And then mode, that's for the model light, which I'll explain in a minute when we add it. So we'll just do a test right off the bat. We had a test there. This number 10 is the brightness level, and it goes from 10 to 60 in increments of 1. So when I crank this all the way up to 60, and I hit the test now, it's going to be significantly brighter than when it was down at 10. You can use that to set and figure out exactly how much light you want to get from the different lights for whatever situation you're trying to shoot. The cell, as I said, I'm going to press this button, turns that off. Now if this sees a flash, it's not going to go off. It's going to wait for the transmitter. This is either fired from when you press the shutter on your camera, or if you need to do a test shot, you can press the button here and test that shot as well. Audio, if we turn that off, then when we shoot shots, it never beeps. You'll have to look for the red light or just be slow and wait. It doesn't take that long to recharge. One thing I'll talk about the recharge time, watch how I'm going to turn the audio back on for this. Watch how fast it recharges between each shot. I'm just going to hit this button as quick as I can. The flash is going to go as often as it can. Now if I turn this all the way up to 60, it's going to be way brighter, but it's going to take longer to charge between each picture. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to click the button as quick as I can, watch the red light, listen to the beep. So it takes a lot longer. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you can do more, if you need to do really quick shots, you might want to look at how you have your camera set up so that you can use less light and achieve that same shot. But it's not that long, even at 60. Finally, the mode button. So let me show you this. I'm going to flip this off, spin this back around. Inside each of the lights is an extra bulb. And I would definitely say when you're transporting these, you'll want to return the bulb like it is here. This is a model light. and you'll see this in studios when the light is already on before the flash goes. And the purpose of that is kind of help you line up your lighting to make sure you're hitting all the spots you want to. If you're going for a special kind of effect, maybe a Rembrandt or some sort of Paramount lighting, this can kind of help you see that ahead of time and make sure that lighting is hitting your model the way that you want it to. So now when I turn this guy back on, we're at cell is off, audio is on, ready for a test. In the mode, you'll see there's no green light there. The light's not on. It has 3 settings, so I can press it once, and we have a light, like a lower light. Press it a second time, and it gets brighter. And then when you press it a third time, it turns back off. And again, face that right towards you. That's on. I would set it. It's probably making my video look terrible. It's on, we would set it, we'd get the lighting how we want, and then we take the test shot, and it fires a flash. So this is just a continuous light that is used while you're setting up your shot. Now for the softbox. So there are 3 of these packs in the kit. They come in these nice little bags. That'll be useful for keeping everything organized when you're done. As we open it up here, we're going to see we've got the warranty card again, the mounting bracket, 8 dowel rods, and the actual softbox. Inside the softbox packaging here, you've got the softbox itself, and then you've got 2 diffuser covers. One sits in the middle and one sits on the outside. The secret to doing these softboxes is kind of a little bit of patience and a table much larger than this one. So this will be interesting to see how well I can do this. The first trick being getting the rubber bands off. So I want to show you on this bracket. It's got a couple different markings all the way around, multiple holes, lots of different options. What we're doing is an octagon, so we're putting in 8 rods. They're going to connect into this softbox here. So right off the bat, you can count that there are 4 sets of a single circle and 4 sets of a double circle and 2 squares. So we're going to ignore the squares. We're going to go first with the single circles. We're going to try to get those installed first, and then we're going to go on to the double circles, and that will put all 4 in. The rods have 2 different sized ends. You want to make sure you're putting it together right the first time. It's all going to fall apart. It'd be really difficult. So you've got a much smaller end and a much larger end. The larger end goes into the bracket. But it's very loose. This whole thing's going to be held together once the whole softbox is pulling it together. So when you build this, the rods are going to constantly fall out. It's going to drive you crazy, but you'll get better and faster at it. The other secret to doing this is these softboxes have a huge hole on the back, which when we're done is held back together with Velcro. So instead of trying to get all this together in a really small space, we're going to use this much larger space to kind of get that done. What I want to do here is show you the first rod, and we'll go around from there. So you take the smaller end, and it's going to go right into this sleeve. Some of these sleeves are probably going to be tough to get into the first time because they've been packed away and smushed down. So kind of got to move them and adjust them around to get it in there. So after I put the first one in, I'm going to skip one and go to this second one here. There we go. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to skip one for my third. And we're going to skip this guy and go to here. So I've got 4 rods equally distributed all the way around on this octagon. It's every other. And they're all coming to the middle here. So let me get these 4 out of the way. We're going to try to use this bracket. So the way the bracket's going to install is this is all going to be inside of the softbox, and this is what attaches the light on the outside. There's a set screw here that allows this to spin freely. So before you put your diffusers on, you're going to make sure this is angled exactly the way you want it, because you're going to have to reach into the softbox to adjust that. So I'm going to get that tight for now so this doesn't move on me too much. Like that. And what I'm going to do is set this whole thing up this way. This is going to be difficult to see on the camera, but I'll describe it as I go. So I've got the first one into the first hole, super easy, no big deal. Second one's going to go into this hole over here. This is kind of a square at this point. Second one, also not too hard. This is where it starts to get tricky. I'm going to get this third one. I'm going to have to start bending these and really kind of leaning into them. They're designed for this, so it's okay. So right there, I've already lost a rod. That's fine. We'll come back to you. So this one, I got to really kind of bend it to get it in there right. Now we got this really wonky looking softbox. So I'm going to put this fourth rod back together into the softbox first. Bend it here and get it in. Piece of cake, 4 to go. But you can already see we've got a shape. In fact, if you wanted a square, you could use that at this point to do that. But we don't want a square, we want an octagon. No problem. Same thing, I'm going to put one rod at a time now. Slipped in there first. And then bent back and into one of the holes that has the 2 circles. We'll just go back around. 3 to go. First time I did one of these, I was super scared about breaking it. It took forever to put it together. You just got to get in there, just really bend it to make it fit. See, I'm really having trouble with that one. There we go. Now this last one, if you save this one for last, it's got an actual flap. The rest of these don't have that. And that flap allows the stick to go all the way through. So that can be good if you're having trouble getting this last one to line up. You kind of get it in there first, while the stick is actually technically shorter. Still super hard to get in there. Come on. There we go. And then, so you can see it sticking up there a little bit. No big deal, we'll just pull it up, Velcro that down. Then on the back, you're just going to fold all these up, let the Velcro hit, and we're almost done. So I was showing you, this piece here has 3 little standoffs. That's what's going to attach it to the light. So just like before, we're going to take the silver switch, pull it back towards the back of the light, twist the dome, pull it right off. You're going to be very careful if you already have your model light installed as you're putting this on. You don't want to have it slip and fall and break that. So this comes right over there. I would say when you're building this, you'd probably want to do the softbox first. So that's going to click into place. Now, as you can see, my screw must have become loose because this is just spinning around. It's secure on the light, but this is spinning wherever I want. So once I get it, you know, where I want it, I just tighten that up. It's good to go there. On the inside of this guy, we've got these little elastic hoops. That's for the innermost diffuser. It is attached with small hooks. The easiest way to do this is to stick the entire hook through one of the loops, and then as you're pulling back, allow the loop to cause that clasp to come open. So we're going to do this all the way around for each one. So I just bring the entire hook through the loop and then pull it back and it clasps right in. Way faster and easier. I've got big hands. It's tough to get these things to click in and out of place correctly. And now our inner diffuser is installed. So the last thing to do before this flash is ready is to use the outer diffuser. A lot of the things you've seen me take apart all come in these plastic bags. I throw them all away except for the ones that hold these diffusers. That's just one extra way I know it's going to stay clean later on, so I like to keep those. And this diffuser just kind of hangs on there. It's like putting a fitted sheet on your bed. I've used others before that have Velcro. That's nice because it just kind of attaches as you go around. This one does not, so it's going to kind of use the size and shape of this box kind of springing outwards to hold it together. Sometimes you got a little readjustment. And there you go. Now this guy is ready to go as a softbox. Model light on and test flash. There we go. So for the price, this flash kit is amazing. You get 3 400-watt lights. These are big, big lights. As a comparison, I have a 300-watt light here, and that's this guy. Works almost exactly the same way. It plugs in on the side. Same buttons, test cell, audio, and mode. Same 10 to 60 number sequence. Also has a sync. Also has an ocular sensor there. So it's a great kit as well. The overall power of the 3 lights is 900 watts compared to this one is 1200 watts. But this kit comes with square softboxes. So one of the reasons I wanted this kit was brighter. Having the options to go brighter is always nice. I hope to never be shooting at full brightness, but with this I'm less likely to be than I was with this guy because it's going to be brighter all the time. Also, the model light on this one is one of those 2-prong like mini halogen bulbs you'll see a lot under like under counter lighting. As opposed to this one, which is just your standard screw-in. It's a longer bulb, but it's a screw-in bulb. You'll also notice this one, it does not have any of those connections. In fact, it doesn't accept a dome at all. So you're kind of a little bit more limited there. So it's also a great kit. It's less power and smaller lights. So a couple things to talk about that I think would make this kit better, but I'll say right now I don't think it's ever going to happen at this price point. But these are small things you can do to make your flash kit just that much better. The first thing I would say is these stands only go up to 6 feet. And if you've got a tall subject and you're trying to get kind of above them some more, that can be difficult with a 6-foot stand. So I recommend buying one 9-foot stand. I'm going to put links in the description for this 1200 watt kit, the 900 watt kit, and the 9-foot stand. I think it was about $25. It's a single stand. I will carry it with me, and if I need it, pull it out. And if I don't, it's great. I've got 3 6-foot stands, which will do most of the work. The other thing I wish this kit had was maybe some more options on softboxes, but they don't know what everyone's going to want, so just go get your own. I watched this amazing video that I'm going to link to right here by a photographer named Sean Tucker, who shows his lighting setup and his workflow for shooting headshots. And one of the lights he had this large honeycomb, and he puts that behind the subject to kind of give them that hair light. And it's a very tall, thin, with a grid to help the light go straight to the person. It's turned way down, but it really helps the subject pop away from the background. So I went and I got one too. This softbox has the exact same attachments on the back as these here. So again, I'm going to be careful because I know my model light is there. I'm going to take this and carefully twist it off and make sure I pull it straight out. Set that to the side and bring this one on. There we go, get that click. I shouldn't have built this first. That way I could have reached in and made sure that that set screw was tight. But he uses a light on a light box just like this, and it's great. So what's great about these light boxes is they are small enough that this is going to fit in that same carrying case I showed you earlier. So I got to tighten it up a little bit. This light box is a little bit heavier. Make sure that's good and tight. And then what it does is it diffuses the light and then sends it through a grid, so it directs the light straight at the source a little bit more. Let me bring that a little bit off the camera there. Works like that. So those would be my two add-ons to this kit to make it nearly perfect. But I think it's acceptable. Just go out and get them on your own. Maybe you don't want this. And by adding this to the kit, it would make the kit more expensive for everybody. So if this is something you'll use, I highly recommend it. Link is in the description for that as well. Here's what this light won't do. Number one, the controls are all on the back. So again, I said your key light might be on a 9-foot stand. It might be out of reach. And if you've got the light set to 26 and you take a test shot and it's not bright enough, you're either going to get on some sort of ladder, step stool, an Apple box, or you're going to have to lower the stand, adjust your settings, put it back up, and keep doing that. So you're going to want to make sure that it's something that can stay pretty static, or you're going to be doing a lot of up and down with either the light or yourself. More expensive lights have control boxes that sometimes hang off, so that when this is up high, you can set the settings there. Or a lot of them have, came unplugged there when I pulled on it. A lot of them have settings you can do right at your camera. So you can take a test shot and be like, oh, that was too dark, and brighten it up and go from there. So you're missing that. It's also AC power only. So if you were someplace with limited or poor access to outlets, you're going to have to run cables everywhere. There's not a battery option for this. You can buy batteries, but those are pretty expensive. So just look into that and think of that. The batteries are probably less expensive if you buy them in association with this kit than if you buy the lights that have the built-in batteries, but it's something to think about. You need to have access to power wherever you are. And lastly, to go with that, these will probably never be used outside. There is no option for high-speed syncing. If you don't know what high-speed syncing is, I'll link to a video right here that tells you a little bit more about it. But high-speed syncing allows your camera to capture something at a high shutter speed, and the flash just goes off multiple times at the appropriate times, so it looks like a single lit subject. Once you get a camera above, it depends on the brand and the make, but once you get a camera above, I'd say 160, maybe 200 shutter speed, you get this rolling shutter effect. And what will happen is as the shutter's coming down, the flash fires here, and then the flash is off, and so the bottom half of your picture is just a big black bar. It's completely worthless. More expensive lights can handle that. In fact, most speed lights have a high-speed sync option, but this entire kit does not. So if you need outdoor flash photography, this is probably not going to work unless it's super overcast, or maybe twilight, or maybe with some ND filters. I don't know. I haven't tested it. I'm probably not going to, but that is a limitation. Again, for the price, it's not a limitation that I would say is worth taking away from what you're getting here. It's a great flash kit. 3 lights, 1200 watts total power. You can't go wrong. So tell me what you think. Check out the links in the description. I will have the Amazon links for this 1200 watt kit, the 900 watt kit, which is 3 of these lights with the square softbox. I'll have a link as well to the 9-foot stand and this honeycomb Godox softbox. Show me the pictures you take with your lighting kit. Let me see how you're set up. I'll do another video soon showing how I'm going to set up my lights for different situations, maybe some in the field stuff. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing, my initial reactions, and kind of a run through. And hopefully seeing how the softbox is built has helped you out, because that thing can be a bit of a bear the first time. And a lot of people buying this light kit are going to be doing a flash studio for the first time. And so if this is your first experience with building a light box, It can be a little bit scary. Because before this, what I had was umbrellas, and I've been opening umbrellas since I was 3, so I didn't have much problem with those. So thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I will see you later. Have a good one.